Hello and welcome to the Mirror's Memento updated game demo. Today I'm going to show you how we've changed since the alpha build and what feedback we've decided to address. So as you can see on the menu here, we have a continue button. So if the player has last gotten to, let's say, level 5 and then they quit or restart the game, our game now remembers that they got to level 5 and allows them to continue from there or start from level 1. So for the purposes of this demo, we will start from level 1 to show the new differences. So the first main difference here is, as you can see, your control pop-ups that display the controls. So these are configured per level to display what we think is most relevant to the user, and then later on they'll only show up for a few seconds at the start of the level, and if the user is not moving for a bit, they will also show up, although we have not yet implemented that. But as you can see, the second thing we've implemented now is the trapdoor system. So now with some spikes, well, right now they look like spikes, but they're gonna look like trapdoors once you implement the model and texture. When you push a box over them, the box will fall into the place of the trapdoor, allowing the player to walk on the box and the doppelganger to walk into the spikes still, or a trapdoor, and then die. So let's move on to level 2 now. So as you can see, level 2 we show off more controls, and if you look at the bottom right corner, there's a new option for the player to request a hint. So let's say I got here and I'm stuck and I don't know how to solve the rest of this puzzle. I can hit the left bumper and it'll tell me, oh, okay, I need to get the box which is onto the spike. As you can see, both of them glowed, so I do that. It's actually a trapdoor, but mind me, I'm going to be using these interchangeably because they function the same, except the box drops into the trapdoor. So now once I do that, I can walk doppelganger to the doom and move on to the next level, right? And this level also shows the interact feature as well in the controls icon, and you can also use the hint system to figure out which switches to press, right? So if I do the L button from last time, it shows me, hey, I should press the switch on the left first, right? And then it tells me, hey, I should press the switch on the right first, right? And what's cool is that, let's say I were to mess up and hit the switch on the right first. And if I press the hint button, it'll tell me, hey, I should undo that, go back to the left, then the right, and then walk into the spike. So it's pretty complex because it goes from your current state and then figures out which solution you're closest to achieving. So um, this level remains unchanged. And as for other things we have, if you look in the options menu over here, we have an accessibility option, which allows the player to highlight key differences in the level. So right now, if I were to enable it, we can see that the two switches over here light up to show that, hey, the player has these two switches and the doppelganger does not. This is for those players who may have difficulty recognizing, minute differences. And it's also a decent way to provide a hint without actually giving away the solution, kind of like the hint button would do. Additionally, we also have, as you saw, we also have volume controls, more complex ones. So instead of just one overall volume, we have master music and sound effects volume. So then the player can uniquely configure these, and these are remembered upon game restart and game quitting. So over here, this is one of our very complex levels with multiple solutions, right? And this is probably the best time to use the hint system and see how strong it is, right? So by default, it recommends that I hit this button for the fastest solution, right? However, let's say I were to hit this one first and say, okay, I should undo this, telling me that, hey, there's no way I can solve the puzzle, after doing that. There's no way I can go forward. Or well, maybe there is a way, but it's a lot slower, right? Same thing with this switch. However, if I hit this switch, it tells me to hit the one above me. So saying that, hey, there is a path to a solution through this, and then I can, I like to keep using it to solve the puzzle. And then as for the other feedback that we've implemented, we've also enabled the top-down view when the player holds the X button on controller, well, Switch Pro controller to be specific, at the top-facing button to be general. which allows the player to see, exactly where each thing on the grid is without anything like blocking. And we've also implemented like this player occlusion as well to help with that in terms of specifically the player. And we've also disabled movement while you're doing this so that the player isn't encouraged to play the whole game like this, because we want to actually show off the assets we made in the game, like the 3D assets. So having the player only use the top-down view would kind of defeat the purpose of that. Yep, and then you also have level names so that the players can track which level they're on as well as a minor thing. And then we also have an undo feature, as you can see here. So right now, the undo feature lets you undo back the past 20 actions, which allows players to recover from minor mistakes and any time they may have spent not noticing they made the mistake until it was too late. And then also another feedback we received is that the grid was pretty hard to distinguish. So what we've done is that we've given it alternating just shader colors, so that now it's quite clear the boundaries of each grid tile. And it's also a lot easier to determine where the center of each grid tile is. Yeah, so then I think I've gone through most of the feedback that we've received and how we've addressed it. So well, from like a mechanics perspective, and then the remaining feedback that we have received is in terms of, I guess, difficulty and level balancing. So you'll see this as it's coming up. But after solving this, if you go to the next level, you see that, hey, it's a brand new level featuring this purple rotation switch over here. So one piece of feedback we received is that the rotation level difficulty spike is quite extreme. So basically, we had the first one that you just saw before, which is quite trivial. You can almost accidentally solve and not actually learn, how to actually like decipher the rotation puzzle, right? So now these levels that we have in between this and the more complex rotation puzzles allow players to actually get a better feel for the mechanic, right? By kind of putting them in a situation where the only path they can go literally is the correct path, whereas so you can see exactly how like the levels line up, right? So, and then another cool thing we have done is that players often complained about during rotation puzzles that when solving the puzzle, it would be quite difficult to figure out or decide, which rotation to use or like which rotations to chain together, right? And they were like, what is the point of actually for us allowing them to rotate, let's say 270 degrees if there is no solution at 270 degrees or no solution that uses the 270-degree rotation? So what we've done is that we've only enabled rotations to angles that are actually useful for finding solutions in order to minimize, I guess, player frustration so that they can actually spend most of their time trying to solve the puzzle. Yep, and now we've gone to our more complex rotation puzzles that we've seen us demo before, and with the knowledge from the previous two puzzles, it should be a lot more straightforward for players to figure out how they should approach the puzzle. And now I'm just going to show you the remaining puzzles that we have, and that should basically be the end of the updated game demo. So once I solve this, now I can show you the last thing we've actually changed, which is we have a new final level that utilizes all the mechanics. So this one, as you can see, there's pressure plates, box pushing, conveyor belts, and light and rotation switches in the lower section. So this challenges players' mastery and understanding of all the mechanics. Previously, it was a bit difficult for us to conceptualize a level that cleverly used all and also could not be completely trivialized. But with this level, we have managed to accomplish that, and we are very proud of it. So, with that, the updated game demo is basically concluded. And as you can see, once you actually beat the game, the continue option disappears. But with that, the updated game demo is basically concluded. I'll start the game once more to show you one last thing that I forgot, which is that for the control pop-ups, if you were to switch from, let's say, controller to using mouse and keyboard, the controls actually adapt to the style of input you're using, which is pretty convenient to the different playtesters, obviously using different controls, and then it'd be quite annoying to communicate all of these, over and over again. And I think that is basically it for the updated game demo. So thank you for watching. We hope you enjoy playing Mirror's Memento, like right now, and then later on once we release the beta and final version of the game. Thank you and goodbye.